everyone, welcome back to Hacky Lessons. In this video, I'm going to look towards the future a little bit. OP12 is about 6 weeks away as I record this, maybe a bit closer by the time I put this out, but the deck I am most interested in playing is Koala. If you couldn't tell, I'm a fiend for the Revolutionary Army, so Koala was obviously going to be what I have to play. I might look into a few other decks after this, but right now Koala is what I'm thinking about. So we're just going to jump on the sim. I'll show you my deck list in progress. It could be what my final list looks like, but I'll put out an actual video with the physical cards when I have them. But yeah, we'll look at my list and we'll look at some gameplay, see how Koala goes against some of the broken decks like Green Zoro, and how it goes against like Blue Cruzan and whatever. Yeah, I'm finding it fun. It's yeah, I like it. I think because if you've seen, I recently put out a Red Yellow Sabo deck list and some gameplay as well, and that really likes the secret rare Kuma that's in OP12 as well. So it could be a bit of an angle where I have to swap those Kumas between sleeves often, but I think yeah, Kuma's a good card. Koala is a good deck, but I don't think it's going to be the strongest meta deck, so it's going to be something I enjoy, but yes. Anyway, we'll work that out as we go through this video to see what kind of fun we can get up to on that sim. Let's go over some of the key cards for the archetype, and we'll start with the leader card itself. So here is the regular art for Koala, and it's pretty nice. I like this art. But the alt art is divisive. I've heard of a lot of people not happy with this set's alt arts. I like them, but I don't love them. I would say this one, I like the how it's designed. So I like Koala at the front there with Robin at the back and everything, but it just, I don't quite like how it's been drawn, but it's not my least favourite old art leader ever, and it might look pretty nice once we can see it in person with the foiling. Now for a translation of the text, so when this leader attacks your opponent's leader, if you have 2 or more characters with cost of 8 or more, draw a card. And you also have once per turn when your opponent puts a character with an original cost of 8 or more into play, or they put a character into play using a character's effect, you can activate this effect, which makes your opponent take their top life. Now, interesting, it also has Dressrosa trait, as well as Revolutionary Army trait. So if you wanted to, if you could find a way to make it viable, you could run the Colosseum, which would mean your Dressrosa traded cards could attack the turn that they're played. Into characters only, that is. So there's an option there, but in my experimenting, well actually I haven't experimented that hard about it, but I've thought about it, and the ultimate conclusion I've come to is not worth it. So if you want to make the most of that leader ability to draw a card, and you don't want to have to wait until the late game to get some big bodies on board, we have ways to cheat it earlier. So there is Lindbergh, Morley, Hack, and Karasu, all characters that, when they're on the board, will sit at a nice cost of 8. So these are all Revolutionary Army cards. Lindbergh is on play, draw 1, trash 1. Morley's just a 2k counter with the plus cost. And then Hack is a blocker that on KO will KO one of your opponent's characters of cost of 4 or less. So that's pretty nice. And there's Karasu, who costs 5 to play, but he has a when attacking, if your opponent has 5 or more cards in hand, they have to trash a card from hand. Now, Hack, I'll just point out, has Dressrosa trait. He's the only one, because if you recall from Dressrosa, he was there. So if you're going to do that Colosseum thing, he's a card for it. Sabo also has Dressrosa trait, and he is, so he gains blocker if you have 3 or less life, but on play he takes a life to draw 2 trash 1, so you'll be at 3 or less life. Robin is a 6 cost. It's searchable off your Koala searcher, so it goes with this deck. It gains plus 3 cost in both Koala and in a Luffy deck. And on play, you trash a card, and then your opponent trashes 2 cards if they have 5 or more cards in hand. So very, very scary hand destruction, that. And then Kuma is your secret rare for the set. It is a 6 cost on play, heal 1, trash a card from hand to heal 1, and it will gain cost until your next turn. So it's not permanently an 8 cost like everything else, but it also has a great effect. If your opponent KOs it, you can heal 1. And Dragon is your 8 cost on play. Place 3 cards with the trait Rev Army from your trash to the bottom of your deck in any order. And then if your leader has the trait Revolutionary Army, play up to 1 character of a cost of 6 or less from your trash. So it can play anything. You can play Robin, you can play Kuma. Those are your main targets, generally speaking. Now then, to get a feel for playing the deck, I went onto One Piece Top Decks and just found a list that I could quickly copy over to the sim, just play a couple games and see what kind of directions you can take this deck in. And as far as this list goes, I found a few areas that don't appeal to me. Starting with the Rebecca blocker. Now, she's not really doing anything in this deck, not much. She can draw a card back from trash, but the only thing she can play is Bello Betty 2K and your 1 cost Koala. So it's kind of in there just because, the generic, let's put in generic good stuff mindset. Same goes for category. Obviously you do want your 8 costs in the deck, but there's a better option, and now we'll have a look at the list that I am currently playing around with. So I have swapped out Rebecca's for Karasu. Karasu is a 3 cost blocker that you can occasionally get lucky enough to play out from your life with Trigger, so a bit better value in my opinion, plus it's searchable. And I've swapped out the Bello Betty 2K for Kuma, same reason, he can be played out on Trigger, so it doesn't hurt to have an extra 5k body you can attack with. The Zeus I've swapped out and I've put in Perona, so what I'm thinking is you've already got a little bit of a hand destruction thing going on with your Robins. So Perona, you can play her and do some hand destruction. Same with Pudding, 2 cost. Also, it's also in there as a sometimes if you want to go second in this deck. If you go first, you won't have anything to do until you have 5 done, pretty much. So it's only at 2, so it's not very reliable as far as that goes, but a little bit more hand destruction. But I have taken out Karasu just because I found it was just a little bit too slow to play a 5 cost, and it only gets its hand destruction ability when attacking. So I've swapped Karasu out for Lindbergh. Lindbergh is actually pretty good value, and all the lists I've seen so far don't really bother with Lindbergh, but Lindbergh you get that draw trash. It's just a nice, you want a healthy amount of 4 costs that you can play on turn 2 that will have that extra cost. So turn 3 you can play a 6 cost Kuma or Robin, and you'll have your 2 bodies that are 8 cost on board, so your leader will get that draw power. And I've swapped out those categories for Sabo secret rare. So it's a nice little bit of removal, but I'm not focusing on removal here. I'm not doing any cost reduction. Like that original list had Bello Betties, but I don't know why. I think they were only in there because they were searchable. So Sabo on play trashes a card from hand, and it hits both a 5 cost and a 3 cost or less. So pretty decent. There's a lot of important 5 costs that you wouldn't mind hitting. So even though you can't hit anything too big, it still does a decent job. And it's another 8 cost you can put on board, as well as your dragons. Your dragons are pretty vital because they get you 2 bodies. They'll get you a Kuma or a Robin back out there. Okay, so now let's look at some gameplay, and I was really hoping not to get a Zoro because I've been finding that a hard matchup, but lucky, here we are. But it kind of turned out okay as far as what I want to do for this video, because this guy, no offense to him, but he didn't play very well. So I got to show how I'm finding the deck plays, more or less. I did have to play around what Zoro does a little bit, but I mean, it'd be good to show you that anyway. So I got to go second, which is what I want to do. I don't have a searcher though, so just pass. And yes, the thing that just feels horrible is that the Zoro's cards that rest your cards hit original cost, not current cost. So you don't get to protect your stuff. As far as like they count as 8 costs, because they get arrested anyway. So I'm going to play a 4 cost with the knowledge that I have 2 Ks in my hand, because so obviously what he should be doing is resting it and swinging it with 8, because he'll rest it with Koala or Tashigi. He's got the done to do it, but he just attacks for 5, so okay, well, whatever. Not what I was expecting he would do. So he's let me off nice and easy, but he's played a Cavendish. Goddamn Cavendish. And he's searching. Is he lacking the things that he needs? Perhaps. But now we know he has Koala. We just saw him draw it off that search. He's put another searcher down there already. There's too many searches for him. So now I'm on my 6th on turn. May as well throw down a Kuma so I can just draw off my leader. I won't attack with Lindbergh, even though I know he can rest it anyway. Let's not make it easy for him. And I'll tell you later. I don't want to spoil. Thrown out the Koala, so I'm expecting rest Koala, put 3 Don on Melita, rest my Lindbergh. Koala does hit original cost. And there's that damn event card. So I know he has that, so I can expect later on that he might go for game and attack with leader 3 times. So he'll attack a character, attack life, pay 3, restand, attack life again. 7 Cavendish swing. Somehow I'm still on 4 life. I'll take that. And now I think I might play that Kuma off dragon, so I'll grab hack instead. So I don't know what he's doing. Why isn't he using his Koala? I think I've realised what he's doing, and that is he didn't realise Koala hits original cost, and he just saw Lindbergh sitting there, cost an 8, and thought he couldn't do it. So, yay for me. Now I have 8 Don. I could play a dragon, or what I think I might be better off doing is getting rid of that Cavendish. We'll get rid of his searcher first. Okay, so 10 into 6. I think that should go through. I've got 5 Don left to play with, so I'll do a Koala search, grab
a 2k. And yeah, I'm putting that down specifically before I attack so I can draw when I attack. Because Kuma has reverted back to being a 6 cost. Jones, don't you just love to see that prick? Still not using that coiner. He definitely doesn't realise that it's original. He could even though my whole board's rested, he could still use it so he can put 3 Don on his leader, and that way he could clear. So now, I laughed a lot when he did this. Attacked with Tashigi, which means Hack is going to kill Koina. Goodbye. Yeah, you could attack with Hody. Yeah, leader 5. I think I don't care about that Lindbergh anymore, so I might as well let it go. Save my counter for later. I figure Hody's going to attack Kuma, who I'd rather have stay on board. Even, you know, he'll give me a heal, but has a Tashigi in his hand, so I could look forward to that. 10 on turn. Let's throw a dragon out there, and you know, it'd be nice reducing that hand a little. Now, I trashed at Kuma, and I should not have, because I already had one in trash, so if I was going to play another one off dragon, I could do that. But I don't have any dragons in hand. I was better off keeping that Kuma in my hand, but nevertheless, we've gotten rid of that meddlesome Tashigi. Now I have a pretty healthy board, pretty healthy hand, pretty healthy life. This card is pretty unfair. Costs 8 and then untaps 4 Don. That's ludicrous. And here comes another Cavendish. So he's got 3 Don up. Okay, he's finally going to use his leader ability. This is the first time in the game he's done it. I'm baffled by that. Most players would have done it every turn, so he may be just learning the deck. I got him down to 1 life, but he has a 8 cost blocker. Lovely trigger. So, with drawing a Saba, the option is available to me to get rid of that Cavendish before he ever gets to use it. I think I will see if he blocks before I decide on playing the Sabo. Doesn't block, so I'll play Sabo. If he had blocked, I would have donned up and killed that Mihawk. So she's finally come into play. Attacking with his blocker, that's a bold choice, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him. Got the Don up for the event card, which we know is in his head. He's scooped. He's realised he's messed up a few too many times. So, you know, that's more or less how I'm finding the way to play Koala is. I usually don't find it that easy into Green Zoro, but that was a nice game for me. Yeah, that's about all I have to say at this point on Koala. When the set actually comes out, I'll do a deck profile, and it may be the same as it is in this video, or it might be wildly different. I'm not too sure as I tinker around and find some new ideas for it, because I didn't try that yellow Sabo in there. I don't like the idea of taking a life, but it might not be bad. And, you know, maybe I'll give the Dressrosa engine a quick little go, see if there's any viability to that. I'm not sure. But that will do it for today, and I'll see you soon.